Barbara Stewart.
Mr Speaker, I'm very pleased to rise on behalf of New Zealand First for the third reading of the Radiation Safety Bill. I was very pleased to be a part of the Select Committee as we reviewed the submissions, talked with the officials who made sure that our knowledge was far greater than what it was when we first started looking at this bill. None of us are medical physicists, and we needed that particular help. And I was very interested in Kevin Haig's speech. We can always learn in this particular area. So I'd like to say a big thank you to the officials for their patience, particularly as we all came up to speed. We support this bill. We know that it's for the safe use of ionising radiation, and this bill will repeal and replace a very outdated act, the Radiation Protection Act. It's long overdue. There's been a lot of scientific developments in the 50 years since this bill was first introduced, and it is important that our legislation keeps up to date with the latest technology, particularly in this age. On this occasion, we believe that the New Zealand public will be reassured that the bill will bring our legislation into line with international best practice and the principles of radiation safety. We're also satisfied too that the dose limits for radiation exposure are consistent with international standards, and there have been a number of standards that were read out by previous speakers that we needed to bring our legislation in line with. We were pleased to hear that there is now a legislative provision for the registration of radiation sources. Previously, only licence holders were required to be registered. And this bill ensures that we now have provisions which are required by the International Atomic Energy Agency Code of Conduct. As other people have already pointed out, it's good to see that the penalty for offences against the legislation are going to be increased. We definitely need deterrence in this part. For this bill, it definitely successfully balances the benefits of ionising radiation with the health and safety of people and the environment. All of us on the Select Committee were very aware of the concerns that were voiced to us regarding non-ionising radiation. Yet we are very satisfied that these two regulations should remain separate from this bill. Hence our desire to see the title changed. It is far easier to identify what legislation one is looking at, when we have ionising radiation or non-ionising radiation. So we're very we are quite sort of satisfied now that we are at this point. We believe that while the bill proposes that it will be voluntary for applicants for a source licence to submit a radiation safety plan, we believe it should be compulsory for every applicant for a source licence to submit a radiation plan for safety, security and emergency. And that plan should require how the individual or organisation are going to comply with the requirements of the bill. We believe that this is essential to ensure that the Act is actually complied with. One of the areas that we have some concerns, we want to hear how the government are planning on supporting operators so that they themselves are fully prepared for the changes that have been made to this legislation. Mr Speaker, in conclusion, we believe it's a very necessary bill that ensures our regulations are aligned with international best practice and the principles of radiation safety. Therefore, New Zealand First are very happy to support this bill in its final reading, and we will follow its implementation closely. Thank you.